Hi guys, I'm going to do a quick video on proteins. So proteins, I mentioned it in class the other day, are the most important molecule in your body. DNA gets the rap for that usually, but DNA is honestly really only important because it makes proteins. Shh, don't tell DNA that. But proteins are doing everything pretty much in your body. Not everything, but pretty much. The monomer for a protein is an amino acid. And we're going to talk about those in just a second. And the atoms found in proteins are C, H, O, and N, and sometimes S. And I'll talk about where that S comes in. Functions, there's all kinds. Because they do so much in your body, there are tons and tons of different functions that you can have. So one is movement, because your like actin and myosin are made from proteins. Also, you have these little motor proteins in your cells that walk vesicles around. It's really cool. We'll watch a video in Unit 2. And those are proteins as well. Transport across cell membranes. So if something is too big or if it's polar and it can't cross the cell membrane, it's going to have to go through a transport protein. Communication, because some of your hormones are proteins. So your hormones are either proteins or lipids. Enzymes. So anything an enzyme does. Not all enzymes are proteins. We've discovered this recently, but most of them are. So most of your enzymatic action in your body is going to be due to proteins, and that's lowering that activation energy and helping those chemical reactions happen more quickly. Your antibodies are proteins. So fighting off infection is a protein kind of thing to do. Structure, your hair and your nails, those are proteins. You have receptors on your cells. There's a lot of talk right now about how COVID gets into cells using ACE receptors. Those receptors tend to be proteins. And so signaling between cells. Energy storage even, so the yolk of an egg has a lot of protein in it, and that's an energy storage kind of thing. And then repair, and that kind of goes back to enzymes, but there are molecules in your body that go about doing repair, and a lot of that is from enzymes and proteins. All right, so that was one of your I can statements. Another was I can identify the parts of an amino acid. So this is an amino acid. You do need to know it. And there are different parts to this. Let me highlight those. So this right here in pink is the amino group, and that is where they get their name, amino acid, from. Let me get some more highlighters. So that is the amino group. This over here in orange is the carboxyl group. Okay. Not super important, you just need to know it. Then down here, this R is what we call the R group, or the side chain, or the functional group. We're going to use functional group because that is kind of the popular name right now. R group and side chain are kind of older names. And then there's just another hydrogen coming off forming that fourth bond. So those are the different parts of an amino acid. The functional group is the only one that's different. All 20 amino acids are identical when you look at this top part, but this R group is what's different and what makes number 1 different from number 2, or number 2 different from number 12. All right, the last I can statement dealing with proteins was I can tell in which polymer you would find a peptide bond, and also tell which monomers it holds together. Peptide bonds are found in proteins, and that's why sometimes you will hear a protein called a polypeptide, because it is many peptide bonds. And so peptide bonds are found in proteins, and they are holding amino acids together. So all of these are peptide bonds. It's a type of covalent bond, but it's just called a peptide bond in a protein. And that's proteins in a nutshell. If you have more questions, let me know, and I hope that helps.